We are in Yaakov, Bracha 61a2, and we're at the part where it says, the gemara once again questions the view that a woman was created from the tailbone. Bishlam olamandiyam parts of now, according to the one who says that the side from which women was fashioned was a figure, we understand. That's why it's written, Vayisgor basar tachtana. That this is the meaning of what is written, and he filled in flesh in his place. That was when God says he made man, he made woman. So it says Vayishgor basar tachtana. He placed flesh around it, so that would mean the figure. After removing the figure from Adam's back to create Chava, so God filled in flesh in his place. But for the one who says he removed the tailbone, or the tail, my vayisgor basar tachtana. What does it mean that he filled in the flesh in his place? Since man no longer had that appendage, what did Hashem fill in? So Amar Rav Yirmiyah, v'yitema Rav Zavid, v'yitema Rav Nachman v'Yitzchak. Rav Yirmiyah said, and some say the Rav Zavid, and some say the Rav Nachman v'Yitzchak said it. The reason we have to know, by the way, I always like to explain this. The reason we have a three-way argument as to who said the following statement. Okay, the reason we want to be very careful about saying something is because if we do not say something in the name of the person who said it, I'm sure there's an easy way to say that in English, but if I don't quote the person who's saying it and I act as if I am the one who said it, or I misquote somebody else, I will hold off the Mashiach. I don't want to hold off the Mashiach, so I want to give attribution. I want to give the correct attribution. Okay? Very, very important, which is why you'll always hear in a speech the Maggid Mishnah or whatever they want to quote. It's not that they're trying to show you their expertise in the subject, because really, when I start quoting people all over the place, you lose interest, right? As compared to me I make a speech until you go home. The famous thing of the Mr. You have to know what Mr. Schwartz is going to say. Okay, I said this many times. Yeah. Mr. Schwartz doesn't like to go to shul. Mr. Schwartz always goes to shul. So Mr. Schwartz is waiting home on Shabbos. Mr. Schwartz comes in and Mr. Schwartz says, "What did the rabbi say?" Because he wants to make fun of it, probably. So Mr. Schwartz, in 30 seconds, sums up the entire half-hour speech of the rabbi, because that's how long it takes. If you ever ask, what did the rabbi say? And again, I'm speaking for 10 minutes, 15, whatever it is in my share. You go home and your mom asks you, what did you say? Well, the rabbi said bang, bang, bang. 3 things. Okay, whatever he's going to say. Yeah. So you summarize my words. So again, I have to know what you're going to get and so on and so forth. But you should say the rabbi, so if I did it well, you're going to say, well, the rabbi quoted Rashi. And Rashi's question was, not the rabbi's question, but Rashi's question was blah, blah. On the Gemara, blank. Okay, that's giving correct attribution. Mm-hmm. Or if somebody said, this is famous for the fake news out there, fake news cycle, when we start quoting people left and right for what they said, but when you go to their speech, you find out they never said that. Oh. They said something totally different. Again, all you do is listen to their words, and you realize that it's a total misquote. But it's a good way to sell newspapers or whatever they want to sell. But that's why when it comes to the Gemara, they're very, very careful to say, some people say this person, that person, the other person, or this person said, okay? That's what we have to say it every single time. So they said, one of these gentlemen said, Lo nitzracha ella, we only need this verse, that he closed flesh in his place. Ella l'makom achatach. This verse is not necessary except as it applies to the point of the incision which was made to remove the tail. At that spot, Hashem replaced the flesh. So according to either side of the argument, it could mean that either God separated the person, the first man down the middle, or however separated the man from the woman, and he closed in the back, and thus we look for the other side, or he took the tail and made the woman from that. And there was a tail. Okay, and so then he explains the Gemara was originally reluctant to understand the verse this way. We know that the body would naturally heal at any point of the incision. Why then was it necessary for the verse to tell us that Hashem sealed the incision with flesh, a simple cut? In truth, however, an incision which heals leaves a scar. This verse teaches that Hashem sealed the incision with flesh, leaving Adam both physically and figuratively with no scar from this operation. Okay. Let's go on. So now the Gemara now questions the opinion of that the side from which the woman was made a figure. So now, according to the one who says that woman was fashioned from the tail, we understand. That's why the word right is written Vayiven, and Hashem built the side that he had taken from the man into a woman. Since only a tail was removed from Adam, it was necessary for Hashem to build it into a body. Right? That would make sense. But according to the opinion it says that it was a figure, what is the meaning of Hashem built? Chava's body was fully fashioned and needed only to be separated from Adam. So what are you fashioning? What are you making here? Again, you have to look at the exact pasuk which you have. Let me have your Gemara, please. You have the exact pasuk, so because it's right here. The newer articles were very sweet to put in the exact pasuk right here. So let's just look at the pasuk. The pasuk says, where is the pasuk? Vayiven Hashem. For two pesukim here. Okay. Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et Adam. So the man, Hashem formed the man. Afar min Adama, dust from the ground. Vayipach b'avav nishma chayim. Wrong one. Oh, that's what they call it? Okay, fine. That was just proving that Hashem breathed into his ear. Breathed into him. So Vayiven Hashem Elokim. So Hashem, the Lord God, I guess I would probably translate that, built at Tsela, the Tsela. Whatever Tsela means. Side, rib, tail, whatever you want to say. Asher lakach min ha'adam, that he took from the man leisha to a woman, vivia ela adam, and he brought it. So that's the first question. Vayiven, he built something. What did he build? If the Gemara is saying, if they're suggesting that Selah means side, Hashem just split us down the middle, so the woman's fully made. What are you building? You want to fill in flesh, close my back up, shkayach. Okay, but you didn't build anything. The skeleton was already there, everything was there. Eyes, nose, everything. Take the sausage right down the middle. That's it. Okay, you didn't build anything. As compared to if he made a tail. There goes everybody, they fell down. Okay. So you got it? Okay, so that's the whole question. Okay, so now let's go on. So he said, so look at the Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh. The verse can only be explained as taught by Rav Shimon ben Manasseh to Darash Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh, that Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh explained or expounded, I like to say. My dichtiv, what does the pasuk mean when it says Vayiven Hashem et Selah, that Hashem built this side that he had taken from a man into a woman? Melamed is coming to teach Shekil'ah HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Chava, that Hashem braided Chava's hair. He was a hairdresser. Hashem turned into a hairdresser. It was a chasana. It's very important that when you go to a wedding, that the bride looks fantastic, better than she'll ever look in the rest of her life. That's why you can make her up, and that's why you tease her hair. And they do everything they're going to do. They put on the craziest makeup in history. But when you see the bride coming through, you're supposed to be a heart. What's it called? Not heartbreaking. Heart stopping, heart throbbing. And when you see her, you should praise her as the most beautiful woman in the world. Some of them can do it, some of them can't. It all depends on who they are, I guess. But here, the master of the universe is the makeup lady, or the makeup person for Chava. How could Chava look bad? With such a makeup artist, it's impossible, right? So what does it mean he built? It means he braided her hair. So obviously, by the way, and this is something that women would like to know, the first woman in the world that was created from whatever she was created from, it may be the side, the tail, or the rib, had long hair. Rapunzel. It wasn't short hair. You have to braid the hair. You can't braid short hair. Anybody with short hair can tell you they can't braid it. So it must have been long hair. So we're guessing probably, I don't know, down here. Now I'm getting into my mind to what would be longer hair. Okay. I mean, it's the first day of creation. Can't be that long, right? It's the first day she's created. No, it's not the first day of creation. Right? So she's, I saw your face. Okay. So you took me too literally. Okay, so he braided Chava's hair and brought to Adam, the first man, Shekain Bekarake Hayam Korin Lekaliata Baniata. For overseas, they call a braider of hair a hair builder. Yay. Overseas. The Gemara is saying overseas, they call a person who. The Gemara is saying. No, they're saying. What?
Not overseas, like looking over something. Overseas or farmland.
Farmland, okay. Right. Okay, so they call it builders. And he says, so the Article explains that this proves that Vayiven built actually means braided, thus Hashem beautified Chava before bringing her to Adam. Okay, fine. That's what happened. That's story number one. That's one way to understand when it says Vayiven. It means that Hashem braided her hair. It just shows how much Hashem puts into making a shidduch work. He takes care of braiding the hair. Tevarach hair, another explanation of this verse. Vayiven Amar Rav Chisda. And again, we have an argument as to who said this. Some people say Rav Chisda said this, and some people say it was taught in the Breita. Here's what it says: Malamed shebena HaKadosh Baruch Hu lechava kebinyan otzir. When it says he built, it doesn't mean he braided his hair. Rather, it means to teach us that he built Eve in a way, in the shape of a storehouse. My otzir is there katzir melamala v'rachav melamata. Just as the storehouse is made narrow on top and wide at the bottom, for the purpose in order to contain produce. Af isha ktsara mala. So also the woman is narrow on the top. Urachava milmata, but she's wide at the bottom. In order to contain an embryo. So if you want to know why women are shaped the way they are, this is the reason. Hashem built them that way. Unlike men who are brought up here, narrow, in an idealistic world, we're narrow in the midsection. Now we're basically a line. Okay, but if you watch farmers, when you guys really would stop throwing the hay and taking care of the cows and doing all these things, no, I'm saying, no, like
maybe not, but hey, definitely.
I'm just saying all these things. Right. When you have to start doing that work, you get into good shape. I mean, you get really good shape. You're strong. It's a natural strength.
The hips. Women have wide hips.
Women have wide hips as compared to men that are not. Okay, so again, what?
We don't need it.
Right. Well, that's the point. That's the Gemara's point here. So again, it's looking at the form of the woman and saying, so obviously there is a reason that women are narrower on top and wider on the bottom. They call it a pear-shaped figure.
Yeah.
Okay? Pear. Pear is...
pear, that's the pear.
One day you'll get my Boston accent. How do you say it? Pear.
That's Midwest.
Pear. Okay, pear.
Like pear.
Hair is pear. Okay. Pear.
Yeah.
And a pear is a... what do you... A dog. And how do you say P-A-I-R?
P-A-I-R.
What?
A pair.
Oh.
We say a pair of socks.
Pair.
Yeah.
So
Same thing. Pair.
same as the
Yeah.
pair. Okay.
Yeah.
A pair. How do you say a pair of pants? Okay. So, right. Okay. Okay. Nonetheless, we're talking, but that's what a pair. There you go. That's for you. Okay. A pair. That sounds like a sultana. Okay. Sultana.
I told you when we lived in Boston, I was accused of being a Southerner.
Well, Southerner.
Sultana. Yeah.
Sounds like it's Sultaner.
No. You're accused of, because you said pair.
From St.
Right.
Louis. It just basically same Midwest accent. But
Okay.
oh, you're from the South. I said, no, it's not the South.
All right. Might as well be. Okay, so anyway, it says, so that's why, again, now you know why the woman is shaped that way. Then the verse continues, V'viyeh el Adam, he brought her to the man. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Elazar. So Rabbi Yirmiyah ben Elazar said, Malav me'shanasek Baruch Hu shosh v'el Adam Arishon. This teaches that the Holy One, blessed be, made the wedding garments for the first man. Mikan lam to Torah derech eretz, and from here the Torah is teaching us derech eretz. What's the derech eretz? The proper conduct. Yaakov gadol im katan b'shosh vinut v'al yeralo. That an important person should make the wedding arrangements for a person of lower rank, and it should not disturb him. Who's the him in this case? He should not feel beneath his dignity. Even God did this for man whose rank is inconsequential compared to his. So here, if I'm taking care of, I should not say I am too much above this to take care of the person. I should, because if God could take care of man, I can certainly take care of this person. That's how it should be. So that's what the second part of the verse, that Hashem brought her to man. Okay? Good? Now, let's go back to the dispute about the appendage of which Chava was fashioned. According to the one who says that the side from which Chava was fashioned was a female figure attached to the male figure, which of them went in front? In front. Who was in the front? Somebody has to be in the front. You can't walk both ways, right? The feet. And by the way, the way you figure out the front is wherever the feet are facing this way, you're the front. And who's in the back? So who's the backseat driver here? Is it the woman or is it the man?
Are the feet facing the other way or with the feet?
Well, whichever. Again, you put the feet down.
Right.
Now the question is, who's facing this way? My feet are facing this way. Who's facing this way? Who's facing that way? That's the only question. We don't know yet, but the feet are facing this way.
Isn't that relative?
No, the feet are facing whatever way the feet are standing.
Right. So if I'm standing and Bubba's standing,
Whatever way your feet, wherever your toes are, that's the front.
yeah,
That's what I mean.
right.
So it's not relative.
No,
How
for
can
the
it be
other person,
relative?
though. For the other, it's the other person.
If I'm attached to his back, my
stand
feet
back
facing
the other way. Right.
No, see, the question is, so who's in the back?
Yeah.
Who's in the back?
So are the toes facing away?
Of course.
Okay, so then
They're in the back.
to them, are they just being carried or? Are they,
Yes.
Okay.
No, they're walking. I mean, they're walking with the person, but
But they're walking backwards.
they can't walk backwards because otherwise the toes would be facing the other way.
No, that's
what we're saying. Are my toes? If we stand back to back, if
No, you're not saying back to back.
Okay.
You're not saying his toes would be where your toes are. The only thing is his body would be twisted around.
So
So
the
my
toes
knees would be backwards. Everything below my knees would be facing that way.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
So the question is, you're attached, that's all. So you have these attached kids,
Yes.
right? You still have it today. So who's in the front, who's in the back? Now we're looking, we know who's in the front and back. The question is, here, who got the front seat?
I'm pretty sure there are some semi-twins who they have both.
Okay, but in this case, who got the front seat? That's the Gemara's question, okay? So it says the two figures were attached back to back, the male figure facing one direction, female figure the other. Hence, when this dual entity walked, essentially one figure moves forward and the other backwards. Okay? Maharal suggests that the man's creation as two figures back to back reflects the dichotomy of his simultaneously facing two opposite vistas, the physical world and the spiritual world to come. So now the Gemara answers, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak said, Mistabra, the Gavra Sage Bereisha. Now, if you have a woman's liver, she's going to go crazy with this Gemara. It says it seems logical that the man went in front. Stop the Gemara. She says, I quit. This is all male chauvinist. The Tanya, why? Why is it like that? Because we have a Braita that says, Lo yahalech adam acharei isha b'derech, that a man should not walk behind a woman in the street. V'afilu ishto, and even if the woman is his wife. To walk behind a woman who is not his wife, he explains, is forbidden, because he may be tempted to gaze at her lustfully. A man is an animal. That's what the Gemara is saying. Not an insult to the woman. It's an insult to the man. However, a man is permitted to gaze at his own wife. Again, you shouldn't do it lewdly, but nonetheless. Nevertheless, he should still not walk behind her as a matter of etiquette. It is for this latter reason that the male figure walked in front and the female behind, even though they were facing away from each other, and Adam could not gaze at Chava. Okay, and now he also brings down the authorities differ regarding whether the prohibition to walk behind a woman applies even a distance of more than 4 amot, which should be 8 feet, and so on and so forth, around 8 feet. Obviously, if you're in a busy area, unless you want to get your jogging shoes on, you're not going to run in front of everybody. But that does explain why you see certain people doing, because they saw this and they said, I can't walk behind, blah, blah, blah. But it really is something that it's all depends on what you're doing. In other words, if I'm gazing at her and I'm watching how she walks, I'm getting illegal hana'ah, illegal enjoyment from it, if you will. So, and it's going to cause me to do something later that is improper. If I'm walking, again, if you're in, let's say, Chicago, I'll use Chicago because you guys are familiar with Chicago, right? You've been to Chicago. Never to Chicago, Indianapolis. Okay, but even Indy. Yeah. Indy also is, how many people do they have? 100,000, 30,000 people, 50,000, whatever. Not a lot of people in the city, I'm guessing, right? Okay, so I've never was there. I don't know. I know. Actually, I've never been to Chicago either.
3 million.
3 million people in Chicago, to Naked City. Okay, I'm guessing it gets tied up there too. Then on the streets. Yeah. Fine. They have trains there. Oh, they have a whole subway system?
Subway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like New York then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very crowded.
Yeah? Okay. It shows how provincial I am. I only know South Bend. I don't know. We don't have any trains here.
You have to stop when you're going up to Skokie.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have time to stop too. I don't have time to Skokie. It's long enough to get there already. Anyway, so, like I said, when you're on the street, anywhere, I mean, it could be here, I don't have to jog in front of the person. That's the point, okay? As long as I'm not looking lewdly at them, I'm all set. But if I'm going to look lewdly, I have to know myself for that. Mm-hmm. So then I shouldn't do it. So the Gemara cites, so that was, I'm sorry, right, so that's, I didn't finish it. Over Al-Kharei Ayusha Banara, and it says, I'm sorry. I was reading the notes. Nizdamna lo al gesher. If a woman happened to be in front of him on a bridge, yisalkena dadan, and there is not enough room for him to move to the side so as not to walk directly behind her, he should pass her and walk in front. Wow. Not knocking her over the bridge. Yeah. Okay, use your brains here. And whoever passes behind a woman as she wades through a river, has no portion in the world to come. In other words, if you're in the water, there's no reason to be walking behind her. She's picking up whatever she's picking up, not to get it wet, her skirts and everything else. Okay, it's what?
I'm thinking, why would people go way through the river?
Because there's no bridge.
Oh, sure, okay.
We'd be just probably like maybe an ankle deep water or something like that.
Could have been, but she's lifting up her skirt.
Yeah.
Fording a stream.
4 in the street. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
And then-
you never did that?
No, yeah, I
No,
do.
we did, but
Imagine
we're
waiting-
thinking
waiting
power rivers
in-
that you need a bridge over.
No, it's a little river, a little Michigas.
Yeah.
So she picks up her skirt a little. So that's improper.
Twickenham Street.
Twickenham Street.
During-
The mighty Twickenham River.
Yeah, even a moderate rain to get past the gutter or the curb there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But there's been when you were in those days, they had to cross these things all the time. There wasn't always bridges. The bridge would be a major river like the St. Joe.
Right, because when I hear river, I think St. Joe. When I hear
waiting, I think
waiting,
that's the waste.
right.
You're waiting to deliver.
Yeah.
Well, it could be that too. I mean, it depends on how far the river was. Again, I have to make a choice. Do I want to walk around? Not. But the point is that if I'm at the river,
Right.
there's no reason to walk behind her.
Right. There's-
You move, so a nice expanse there. And the only reason to walk behind her is to see something, to get your mind moving. So that's what the Gemara says, Ein chelik elam haba. So he doesn't have any portion of the world to come. So here he says, here the bride does not state that the ruling applies even to one's own wife, as does when she was crossing the bridge, as does in the first clause. Only when walking on a bridge behind a married woman other than his wife is required to move past her and walk in front. But you should, again, make sure you say, excuse me. Don't push her over. But when behind his own wife, he is not obligated to do so, since not walking behind his own wife is only a matter of proper etiquette. As opposed to the more serious prohibition of gazing lustfully at a woman, he is not required to go out of his way to move in front of his own wife. Since, and now this is crossing the river, since he will gaze at her as she raises her clothing to prevent them from getting wet. Here too Rashi notes that the statement applies specifically to someone else's wife. One who indulges in such behavior is judged so severely because indulgence in such behavior may lead to adultery. So you want to stay away from that. So again, you have to use your God-given brains as to what you're doing. Tana Rabbanan, rabbis have it taught in the bright time. Hamar Semaot, Isha Miyada Miyadol Yada. One who counts out money for a woman from his hand into her hand, Kedei Lehistakelba, in order to gaze at her. I'm giving you money so I can, and I'm doing it from hand to hand, as compared to how do cashiers do it today? Most cashiers, if you watch, they put it on the counter. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
They don't put it in your They don't put it in your hand anymore. I've noticed that. No matter who you are, they don't put it in your hand anymore. So on the boom, 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 and you have to pick it up. Unless you put your hand out, that's when maybe they'll put it there. But normally they don't like to even count in your hand, which I think is very interesting. I don't think they learned this gemara, but okay. But imagine now, if I'm used to doing that now, but I want to look at you. So 1, 2, 3,
Oh, the man is the
4.
cashier.
What?
The man is the cashier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I blew your mind, right?
No, I think like she's handing you money, so you're getting something from her handing you money.
Right. So he's counting it out to her so he can look at her. Okay. And so he can not look at her, gaze at her, have a nice little fantasy while he's giving out the money. He'll forget what he's giving. It's a lucky day. Yeah, okay, I'll keep counting. Okay. But it's, so what happens? Filu years beyond the Torah Masim Tov and Moshe Rabbeinu. Even if he possesses Torah and good deeds similar to those of Moshe a teacher who received the Torah from Har Sinai, Lo Yenake Medina Shel Gehenim. He will not be spared the judgment of Gehenim. That's it. He's done. As they like to say, stick a fork in him. He's done. Shneimar Yad Liyad Lo Yenake Ra, as it says in Proverbs. Hand to hand, he will not be spared from evil. Which he explains, hand to hand refers to when it counts out money in this manner, in order to gaze at a woman. The verb chooses this particular expression rather than state this explicitly to hint at Moshe, who received the Torah from the right hand of Hashem into his hand. This teaches that even one with the spiritual achievements of Moshe will not be freed from punishment for using this ploy to illicitly gaze at a woman. Yeah.
This is all on the side that on the basis that you're looking at the woman while you're handing it out. If you don't have a counter, and you're just in your pocket, you're counting the change, and you hand it to someone. If that person happens to be a woman, that's okay still, just as long as you're not looking at her lustfully.
Oh, lustfully, right. You should always look at people, but not
Just
lustfully.
trying to
Yes, yes.
That's the point.
That's the point. You can't do it lustfully.
right.
So, but I'm just saying, as a result of that, it depends on where you are. Most people don't, certainly in the Jewish markets, do not hand the money to you. They put it on the counter, so you have to take it. Male, female, male, doesn't matter what it is anymore.
Okay.
So that's where most people got that from. If you really want another interesting practice, not coming from this, but just coming from business, let's say you gave a $20, the bill came out to $11.50, okay, and you give a $20 bill, right? Where does the cashier put the $20 bill?
Oh, on top of the register.
On top of the register, and then counts out the change to you. Why doesn't he why doesn't the cashier, just put it into the cash register?
Just to make sure it gets right to change.
To make sure that the customer doesn't say, I gave you a blank bill, whatever that bill would be,
Yeah.
and then he has to fight that. No, here, you can't say it. Right here, I put your bill right
Neither
here.
one can change the other.
Right, so I gave you a $20 bill, and he gives you $5. No, I gave you $20 right there. You have it. Okay, so that's why whenever there's change coming out, they don't put it in. If they do, then it's a big argument. You put it on top, and then you count out the
I
money.
remember when I was a kid, when that started to change, I didn't usually just stuff it in a drawer and count your change.
Well, there's scam artists and sleight of hand. They'll slip a bill into their sleeve and say that I didn't get all my money.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Even
Or
better.
I gave you this, and
Yeah.
that's why they want. If there's any controversy, you count it yourself.
Uh-huh.
They put it down there.
By the way, the interesting
yeah,
thing
yeah.
also, if you think about a bank never gives it to you in your hand. They don't. They go to the counter. They never look at you. They look at the bill.
And they're
two,
staying behind the
three.
window.
Right,
They're putting
right.
it behind.
Oh, yeah. But I'm
And
saying,
then,
no, they put it right. 1 to you, 2, 3, 4.
well, with the ones that I've been up here, so usually they count it out in front of you, and then they usually stuff it into one of those little folders and hand it to
So
you.
my father never let them put into a folder.
Ah.
They would count it in front of him.
Yeah.
He would take it and count it in front of them.
Oh,
Yeah, then the transaction is.
That is done. Why would he count again? He just saw it counted.
he's acknowledging for himself, and then she can see there, he or she can
Right.
see that
So he's saying there's two things could happen. One, a bill can stick, so I can cheat you. So I don't want to cheat you. In other words, I know how to deal cards quickly, so you could cheat me. So he always taught me, count it before you leave. Once you leave, it's over.
Yep.
It's a done deal. Okay. You can't say, but no. You left the counter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot of this, and that doesn't come from here, but it's just a lot of these practices that we have. We'll stop with this, but a lot of the practices that we have, you can see seemingly coming from this gemara about counting money out, and if I'm going to a lustful manner is I'm looking right at the girl. 1, 2, 3.
In other words, you're using it as a ploy to try to draw her attention.
Correct. If I'm going to put into her hand, I want to touch her. It was interesting. I went to yesterday to get I had to get a sprayer for the sink. What do you call that sprayer? A sprayer. I don't know what you call it. For the kitchen sink, whatever. Everybody knows.
Drain cleaner. Drain
No, a sprayer.
Windex?
No.
For washing dishes.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
the hose.
Oh.
That one. The thing broke.
Oh.
So I went to the store yesterday. I won't say which store, but I went to the store because I don't want to be sued. I went to the store and I was talking to the person there. I said, "Where do you have the?" And I didn't know how to say it. I still don't know the name of it. A sprayer, I guess. But I described it. So the girl took me right over. Woman, whatever. The girl took me right over and said, "It's right here." And I said, "This is all you have." We had a normal discussion about it. And then I said, "Well, how fast?" It's one of the cheaper ones. I said, "Well, how long should this go? 5 seconds, 10 seconds? In other words, how long will this last?"
Oh.
How long will it last? 5, 10 seconds? I said, "No, 30 seconds." And she went, "Oh, isn't that cute?" And she touched me. Now, and boom, a young kid doing that. And I was, first of all, it's strange because I think people are generally taught, don't touch the customer.
Yeah, I would
It's just
think
a
so.
smart thing not to
I
do.
would think so. Yeah.
It's just a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But it was a little, she was a young kid, probably 20, whatever it was, young kid, and she was just playful. And I thought it was cute. You know, I thought it was cute, but I was thinking, look at that. In the old days, and by the way, the reason I was so sensitive to it is because it's not done anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, whoa, I didn't jump back. I didn't, I'm not a freak about it. But it just, I was thinking, when's the last time somebody playfully in the store would touch a customer?
It's like, your old buddy.
Right, and that's what the Gemara was trying to avoid.
Huh.
Because one thing leads to another.
Huh.
Normally, I wouldn't think of the person at all. I asked her a question, goodbye. But you had physical contact with me. Now I'm going to remember you. And that's the problem.
Psychology is weird.
What?
I never realized that, but yeah, once you have physical contact.
Once you have physical contact, you remember the person. I know her name. I know everything because she made an impact on me. Yeah. But think about that. Again, I don't know the cashier. I didn't care about the cashier. I didn't care about the person who gave me directions. I didn't care about the kid who carried my stuff out. I don't care about that. I had no physical contact with them. But once I have physical contact, especially with the opposite sex, I'm going to remember you. You're going to make it. You made an impact. Again, it was a nothing. It was this. But because you did something, and it was playful, it's a clearly playful thing. Again, I'm not saying she was doing anything wrong. I'm not condemning her. That's who she is. But I remember her because of that. And that's the power that the rabbis were saying. It's not a joke. It's not something that they're crazy, they're Michigan rabbis. They never taught. I see plenty of people. And she's the only one I remembered. I want you to think about that. It's a very major thing. That's why when people shake hands, I can tell you, if they shake their hands like a dead fish, I hate that, but okay. But I know who they are and I know what to expect. And so I say, forget it. Shake like a man. Don't leave me alone. And that's why you don't shake a woman's hand. It's not because you're going to do something wrong, but you can remember that person. Again, if I don't shake a man's hand, if I don't shake anybody's a person, if I don't have physical contact, I'm not going to think twice. Hi, how you doing? Goodbye. That's it. As compared to somebody else, once it's physical, you remember it. Okay, we'll have to stop here.
Yeah.